Good morning, sixth graders. Today, I'm going to be going over what you need to do to update your claims, evidence, and reasoning statement that you made from the weather case files. Many of you have not yet demonstrated proficiency in this standard, and that tells me that I need to do some more teaching. So, when you go back and look at these weather case files, I want you to think about what was one pattern you noticed, what evidence showed the pattern, and what other evidence showed the pattern. For example, let's take a look at this information. This shows a map of where the different hailstorms occurred. This location lists them out more specifically. Then we get the date and the time. What pattern do you notice about the location? Is there a specific pattern? Is there a place that it tends to occur? What about the time of year? Notice the earliest it happens is February 24th, which is very early spring, getting it really early spring or late winter. And the latest it happens is October 5th, which is fall. And then what do you notice about the time of day? One thing that really stands out to me is that all of the times of day happen in the PM. So what might that mean? What pattern might you pull out from that? Additionally, we could look more closely at some of the data sets for each location. In this first set of data, this is the hailstorm that happened in Oklahoma, and it happened between 7:53 and 8:53. So what do we notice about temperature at the time of the hailstorm? What do we notice about relative humidity? What about wind speed? What about wind gusts? Not only do you want to look at the time that it happens, but what was the day like overall? Here is another data set from Texas. I have highlighted the time at which the hail event occurred. But what do you notice about it happened between these two times? What do you notice about temperature, relative humidity, wind speed, and wind gust, both at the time, the approximate time it occurred, as well as the day as a whole? And here is yet another set of data where I have highlighted the range at which the hailstorm occurred. So what do you see about temperature? What do you notice about relative humidity? Wind speed, wind gust, both around the time that the hailstorm happens and the day as a whole. Once you have identified your pattern, you're going to be able to make a claim. But that claim must be supported with evidence, and the evidence must be specific. Evidence does not include, because I read it in the data. Evidence also does not include a link to a data chart. Evidence must be specific things that are listed, and that cannot be, in this case, anecdotal. So it can't be something about, I've experienced this and therefore it is evidence. So for example, if I wanted to write the claim, hailstorms happen in the afternoon and evening. My evidence is going to need to be several pieces of specific data from different locations about when the hailstorm occurred. Also, if you can, it is helpful to have in your data set the highest value and the lowest value. So for time, the highest value would be the earliest, and the lowest value would be the latest. Okay, so the earliest recorded hailstorm happened at, I would put in a location in, I would put in a time in location. The latest recorded hailstorm happened at time in location. For example, a little more specifically, the hailstorm in Dallas, Texas happened at 6:30 p.m. And then I could list 2 to 3 more examples. Next, the reasoning. The reasoning must be a science explanation. It's what we have learned that might explain these patterns. It cannot be, my reasoning is that I saw it in the data. No, why would hailstorms happen in the afternoon and evening? So this is where I'm using, this is the hardest piece really, but this is where I'm applying everything I've learned. So good luck, scientists, in updating your work.